Hi guys, my name is Alex, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about how I found acceptance in terms of my OCD. So I was diagnosed with OCD when I was 19, 28 now, and I started experiencing OCD when I was 13. And it took until 19 to get a formal diagnosis because every time I went to a psychiatrist or a therapist, they just thought I had general anxiety and not OCD. And so when I got diagnosed, I actually in the beginning felt very relieved because I had kind of figured out that I had OCD. And I was just like looking for an answer because I wasn't getting one for so long. And then when my psychiatrist finally diagnosed me, I finally felt like, wow, like somebody's listening to me, like maybe now I can move forward. But there's still so many times in my journey where I have felt broken and like OCD is defining me, like that's who I am and that's who I ever will be. And it's taken a long time to come to terms with the fact that I have OCD and I will probably always struggle with OCD for the rest of my life. And when I mean struggle, I don't mean like every single day of my life suffer and be in pain. Because I'm not. For the past year and a half, I've been in such an amazing place with OCD because of therapy, because of exposure response prevention therapy has truly changed my life. But there are many days, where I will wake up and OCD will be a little bit more prominent than usual, and sometimes I feel myself going back into a spiral or rumination. And when that happens, it's really easy to get sucked in and think, well, this is who I'm going to be forever. I'm a broken person. I don't deserve good things. OCD is all I am. And that's very easy to get caught in that. But I want to remind you that just because you have OCD does not mean that you were defined by OCD. We are not defined by our mental health. We're defined by what kind of person we are, how we treat other people, our values. And so, like I said, it took me some time to come to terms with the fact that I will always have OCD. But I have found acceptance through radical acceptance, which was really, really big in my part of my exposure therapy. And to me, radical acceptance means full acceptance of whatever happens in life. Whatever thought comes my way, whatever trial and tribulation I go through, I have radical acceptance that I will get through it. And that there are so many things that are out of my control, and that's okay. It took a long time to fully accept that I had OCD, but when I did, it really felt like a weight lifted off my shoulder because, again, I'm not defined by OCD. Just because it's something I struggle with doesn't mean that it's who I am. And for any like mental health condition, it's really easy to get so wrapped up into it. And your OCD, when it's really, really loud, it's easy to be like, this is who I am, like I'm a broken person. But you are not broken just because you have OCD. Everybody struggles with something, whether it's a mental health disorder or diabetes or, something like that. My dad always used to tell me that everybody has something. So another part of a lot of acceptance for me was that I wasn't alone. I'm not alone. There are so many people who struggle with OCD. Some of them talk about it, some of them don't. And through the community on Instagram that I have found, it has been such a beautiful thing connecting with so many people and truly realizing that I am not alone, and recognizing that there are so many people out there who struggle with the same thing. So part of acceptance for me was making peace with the fact that this is something that is in my life. And it was really weird because I was just thinking about this yesterday, about how for so long I was so upset that this was the life I had to go through when I was really, really struggling, that this was my walk of life. This is what happened to me. Why did I have to suffer? Why did I have to have this? And I've just realized that through the years of healing, I have really, really come to term with the fact that I know why I had to have OCD. I know why I walked through this life with OCD. And I truly believe it was because that I'm here to help other people and to help them feel less alone. Because I think when we talk about our struggles and we open up, a light comes in and it kind of breaks away the darkness and takes away the shame, and it just like opens you up, like when you let someone in. Like OCD loses its power when we talk about it because OCD wants us to be quiet, it wants us to be shameful, it wants us to feel guilty. And so part of acceptance for me was talking about it and not being ashamed about it, because there was so long where I didn't want to talk about OCD, where, people would notice that I had certain behaviors and they'd be like, what's that about? And I didn't want to talk about it. I was so ashamed of having OCD. The first thing I thought was, what is wrong with me? I'm crazy. Like, what is wrong with me? And I don't think about myself that way anymore because I've, been on this journey for a long time now. But part of acceptance is realizing that we are human and that we all struggle with something. And just because we struggle with something doesn't mean that it has to be our whole life. Like when I say I always have OCD, I don't mean that I'm going to suffer, because I'm not suffering right now. Because of therapy, I have been able to take my life back, and OCD is truly just a background thing for me now. And the days that it comes up, I have my skills, I have my toolbox, I know how to let go and to move forward and not let OCD be the one making decisions and be in charge. And I think that's something I really encourage people to do, is really give themselves grace and self-compassion on this journey, that just because you're struggling with something does not mean you are a broken person. It does not mean you are going to suffer forever. OCD is chronic, but is 100% treatable, and there are so many ways and tools to get better, like exposure therapy, acceptance commitment therapy. Those are both great tools that have helped me and that have helped so many people. And ACT is a really great therapy because it talks about acceptance and accepting, anything that comes in your life and using it for good, using it to do something better. And that's kind of how I look at my OCD now, is that, hey, I have this really terrible mental disorder, but I'm in a good place now. And now I can use my story to help other people. And that has really been such a big part of my acceptance journey, is realizing that, yeah, I have OCD and it may be chronic, but that does not mean that I'm going to suffer for the rest of my life. And acceptance doesn't mean that we agree, with the thoughts we're having. A lot of people will be like, and this might be kind of off topic, but something that I learned in therapy, that just because I have certain thoughts does not mean I agree with them. You don't have to agree with a thought to practice response prevention. It simply just means dismissing the thought as it is, being like, okay, like I had it. It is what it is. Like, I know I don't agree with it, but I can move on from it. And so that's been a really great tool for me. Like I said, radical acceptance has been so powerful. But yeah, I know it can be really difficult to come to terms with your diagnosis. And the first thing that you think of is like, I have this condition and it's going to be part of my life forever. And that really sucks. And it does suck. And that's okay to admit that some things just are the way they are. And we can't do anything really to get rid of it. But we know how to treat it. We know how to have a fulfilling life without OCD. And that's where I've been for the past year. I still have OCD. I still wake up some mornings and OCD is loud. But I'm the most fulfilled in my life that I've ever been. I just got married. I'm doing really well with personal goals and my job and my online blog and meeting new people, and just I'm really thriving. And I'm just one prime example that you can still have a beautiful, fulfilling life even if you have OCD. I know so many people who have OCD who are also doing really great things, who are living their life and they're thriving, they're having fun. They have days too where OCD comes up, but once you come to terms with it and you go, you practice exposure therapy, you're like, maybe it isn't that bad, because you can still live a beautiful life and do amazing things and reach your goals, even if you have OCD. That doesn't have to stop you from doing what you love, and it doesn't have to make your life like this terrible, horrible thing. Just because you struggle with it doesn't mean you can't get better from it. Exposure therapy is so effective and it's so powerful, and it has, like I said, it has truly given me my life back, that I'm not scared of having OCD anymore. I don't let it get to me, because I know that I can still follow my dreams, I can still reach my goals. Just because I have OCD doesn't mean I'm not capable or I'm not worthy of doing any of that. And I want to tell you that same thing. Just remember, just because you have OCD does not mean you are not worthy of a relationship, of love, of following your dreams, of doing everything that you want to do. You can still live a big, beautiful life, even if OCD tells you you can't. OCD will whisper these lies and these negative thoughts to get you back stuck, but you do not have to listen to them. You can say, hey, I have OCD. I'm not going to let it stop me from living my life. I will make a pack to continue to get better and to practice response prevention throughout my life so I can live this big, beautiful life. Because OCD is really good at making things big and scary in your head and feeding you these lies. But I'm here to remind you that they're not true. And one of the biggest things I learned is just because you have a thought does not make it true. And that is something that I've held on to and that will probably help me forever in this healing journey. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this reminded you that you are capable of everything you want to do in this life. With or without OCD, you are capable and you are strong. And if you are someone who is struggling with OCD, I really encourage you to go to NOCD.com, talk to someone. They can find someone who, is specializes in OCD. And if you want to know more about me and follow my journey, you can follow me on Instagram at RecoverOCD. Also follow NOCD on Instagram. They're always posting really great tools and posts that have made me feel so much less alone in this journey. So yeah, I hope this maybe just reminded you that OCD doesn't have to be the center of your life. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.